Nobody warned you that feeling too much would start to feel like a personality defect, but at some point, it did. You cried at a commercial, you felt your throat tighten watching a stranger comfort a child in a parking lot, and your first instinct wasn't to feel anything, it was embarrassment. What is wrong with me? Nothing. But psychology has something far more interesting to say than that, and most people never hear it. Here's what research keeps finding across decades of study. People who cry easily are not fragile. They are not immature. They are not too much. In many cases, they're operating with a nervous system that is picking up signals most people around them completely miss. And that changes everything about how you should understand yourself. Not the cultural script that says composed equals strong. The real picture, the one built on neuroscience and hard psychological research. Because here's the thing, what's happening inside you has a name, a mechanism, and an explanation. And once you hear it, you won't be able to unsee it.
Psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron spent years studying what she called the highly sensitive person, HSP for short. Her finding was simple but quietly radical. About 15 to 20% of people are born with a nervous system that processes emotional and sensory information more completely than everyone else. Not more dramatically, more completely. Emotional signals don't just pass through. They linger. They get examined from multiple angles. They leave a mark long after the moment is gone. So when you cry at something other people shrug off, a song, a sunset, someone else's good news, your brain isn't overreacting. It's doing more work with the same input, processing at a level most people never reach. Think of it this way. Some people hear a piece of music. You feel it physically land somewhere in your chest. Same song, completely different internal experience. That's not weakness. That's a different kind of architecture. But the wiring? That's only the beginning. What that wiring does to the way you experience other people, that's where this gets genuinely surprising.
Here's the part that almost never gets talked about. A lot of people who cry easily aren't just feeling their own emotions more intensely. They're absorbing other people's emotions as if they were their own. Neuroscience has a name for this: empathic resonance. When your mirror neuron system is highly active, you don't just understand what another person is going through. You feel a version of it yourself, physically, in your chest, in your throat, behind your eyes, before you've made any conscious decision to feel anything. This is why you cry at funerals for people you barely knew, why a friend's good news hits you as hard as bad news can, why watching someone get publicly humiliated makes you feel something in your body that other people in the room simply don't register. You're not being dramatic. You're wired to experience human emotion as a shared event, not a solo one. And here's what that costs you. Every social situation, every conversation, every room you walk into, you're not just managing your own emotional state. You're absorbing pieces of everyone else's too, quietly, constantly, without anyone noticing, including you. That kind of empathy is rare, but it runs on something. And there's actual science behind why the release feels the way it does, and what it's really doing inside your body. Crying isn't just an emotional response. It's a biological one. Emotional tears. Not the kind your eyes produce to stay lubricated, but the ones connected to feeling have a measurably different chemical composition. They carry elevated stress hormones, cortisol, pressure that has been building inside the body, looking for a way out. Which means when you cry, your body isn't falling apart. It's expelling the physical residue of everything you've been holding. That feeling after a real cry, that strange, specific sense of something settling, of pressure lifting, that's not just in your head. That's your nervous system completing a cycle it needed to finish. A release valve doing exactly what it was built to do. For people who feel as completely as you do, that valve gets triggered more often. Not because something is broken, because the system is working harder than most people's ever will. And what that system is protecting, what all of this wiring, this empathy, this depth has been building, is something most people spend their entire lives trying to develop on purpose. Here's what psychology is actually telling you. Crying easily means your emotional awareness runs at a resolution most people never reach. It means your empathy isn't performed, it's structural, wired into the same architecture that makes you feel music in your chest and someone else's pain in your throat. It means you are still, despite everything this world does to discourage it, genuinely open to the full weight of human experience. The people who feel the most are often the ones who notice the most, who understand the most, who show up most completely for the people around them, not because they try harder, but because they're built differently.
You weren't too much. You were surrounded by people who felt less and called it normal. The person who still allows themselves to feel things fully, that takes more courage than a stone face ever will. That is not the opposite of strength. That is the strength. So stop apologizing for how you're wired. Psychology isn't worried about you. It's paying attention to you for all the right reasons. If this shifted something for you, even slightly, subscribe. New psychology every week that actually helps you understand who you are. And drop a comment. Has crying easily ever felt like a weakness to you? Or did some part of you always know it was something else?